Sorry about the delay, folks. Helps if you hit the go live button. Well, we are live here at Chicagoland Speedway. Larry Dickerson across the stripe here in qualifying. Sixth quick, 30.804 on his second lap around. Russ Kilgore on the track. First lap of 31.32. Not what he's looking for, I'm sure. It might have been just a throwaway. We'll see what he can lock down here on his second time by. Five minutes into qualifying, just about 5 to go. Most everybody's taking a time. Fast driver in practice, Timothy Pope, on his first lap. Kilgore, though, about to cross the line for his second time by. Let's see where he lands. 10th fast. Let's go to Timothy Pope. Real threat for the pole position. Can he knock Alfie Charon off the top spot? First lap for Pope, 30.881. He's got some work to do here in the next lap. He's got to pick up at least a 10th. Pope crosses the stripe. Eighth quick, 30.819 for the 7:28. That's going to wrap it up for qualifying. All drivers have made their times. We're going to jump out, get a break out of the way. We'll be back right after this. Back at Chicagoland Speedway for tonight's Holler Boys Racing 188. Before we jump into our starting grid here, let's take a look at the point standings as they run after last week. Zach Millett, of course, your points leader with a 129-point margin over teammate Brian Rose. Third is Chris Klein. Joe Bennett, Double O Joe, that is, he's fourth. Mason Wagaman runs fifth in the points. Paul Durkee, sixth. Daniel Baker 7th, Vincent Short in the 8th spot, Brandon Coleman 9th, Mike Adamson's 10th, Juan Jimenez 11th, Nick Cote 12th, Justin Lawson 13th, Jeff Ottinger 14th, Rob Hattenbach 15th. Don't know if Rob's in the field tonight. Did not see him here, but there's still an opportunity there. Russ Kilgore 16th, Larry Dickerson 17th, Blaine Woodruff 18th, Scott Milner 19th, and Tony Polk 20th. These drivers currently in position for a playoff berth. It's not official just yet. They still have some work to do before we get to that point. The guys on the bubble, well, that's 21st through 35th there. You see it in the center of your screen. So these guys also have some work to do. With that, let's go down trackside here as qualifying is complete. Let's take a look at our starting grid. On the pole position with a lap time of 30.782 seconds, it's the 78 of Alfie Charon. Outside front row, the 89 of Brian Rose. Row number 2, Albert Anderson, the 747. He'll start third with Paul Durkee to his outside in the 13. Paul Ferdiani is going to start from the 5th spot with Larry Dickerson on his flank, starting 6th in the 69 truck. 7th starting position, Nick Cote, the number 94, with Timothy Pope starting 8th with Limitless Motorsports. Keep a close eye on Tim Pope tonight. He's going to be fast. He was really fast in practice. Thought he'd be a threat for the pole. Maybe a mistake in qualifying, but I don't think we're going to see too much of that during the race. Starting 9th, the 315 of Zach Millett, the points leader. Vincent Short's going to start from the 10th position in the number 15. Russ Kilgore rolls off from the 11th starting position. Double O Joe Bennett's going to start 12th, and Justin Lawson starting 13th. Dan Baker in the 09 rolls from the 14th position with Blaine Woodruff, the 71, starting 15th. Brandon Coleman, the number 19, starts 16th. Scott Milner, 17th. 18th goes to Mike Adamson. 19th, Justin Hoff. 20th belongs to Andy Sizemore in the number 27. 21st position goes to Robert Chipman Jr. 22nd is Chris Klein. Watch him. He's going to be fast tonight. Jeff Ottinger, 23rd. Tony Polk, 24th. And shotgun on the field in the 5 truck, it's going to be Steve Mailer. It's your starting grid for the Holler Boys Racing 188, the DEP Graphics Truck Series. Field sits on the grid here. We're getting ready to roll. Hope everybody's ready here for tonight's race. The Holler Boys Racing 188. One pace lap. We're going to be going green the next time by for 125 laps. Field working turn number 4, pace truck about to pull off. It does. Barney the flagman with a green in hand. It waves. We're underway from Chicagoland. Lap 1 complete. Brian Rose jumps right out to the race lead. Larry Dickerson P2. Alfie Charon slips to P3. Might have saw Double O Joe Bennett get into the fence on the backstretch. Gets away with it clean. And we got trouble for the 747 of Albert Anderson down to the apron of the racetrack. Slow moving. Don't know if he made contact or was just getting out of traffic and let things settle down. Either way, back in the gas, under power, continues on. Still out front, Brian Rose. Brian Rose with a quarter-second advantage over the 69 of Dickerson. Down the backstretch. That gap is shrinking. Larry closing in. So is Timothy Pope. He's up 5 spots already, only 4 laps in. Not wasting any time is Pope. Dickerson takes a look to the inside. Brian Rose still out in front, but for how long? Dickerson taking a look to the top side now. Thought about it on the bottom of the last lap. Now he's going to the top of the lane. Trying to build a run out of turn 4. He's got the run. What can he do with it? Rose drops it all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack, just like he would in qualifying. Dickerson gets a nose inside down into turn number 1. He might have the position here. Rose battles back. Dickerson slides up a bit, almost contact. Dickerson can't complete the pass just yet. Still working to the left side of Brian Rose into turn 3. Timothy Pope, Alfie Charon, the rest of the top 4 still side by side for the lead. On to turn 4. At the stripe, Dickerson's going to lead that lap. Brian battle back, or we settle in behind. Looks like he's going to fight. Got Harley in the stream chat. I'm a Zach Millett fan tonight. Millett running in the 5th position. Still side-by-side battle for the lead. Only 8 laps in. Man, if this was just 2 to go, what a battle we'd be watching. Timothy Pope's going to look up the middle. Nope, he's going to stay in behind Dickerson. Trying to change his mind here, but Alfie Charon is to the right side. Brian Rose still able to hang on. I think Dickerson might have him out of 2, or does he not? No, still cannot clear Brian Rose. And there it is. The 69 takes the spot. Larry Dickerson officially now your race leader at the stripe. Brian Rose tucked right underneath, though, trying to repass, continuing to fight here early on. This is a track that tire savings can really make a difference later on in the run. These guys are not doing any of that right now. Alfie Charon tucks in behind Brian Rose, and Zach Millett closing in as well. He's up into the 4th position. Still this battle for the lead. Brian Rose has swapped spots, gone back to the bottom, retakes the top spot here out of turn 4. Dickerson with another run down into turn 1, looking to the high side. Rose drops down to cut off the 78 of Charon. Charon was looking a little feisty, wants that lead back. Hasn't led a lap as of yet, other than that pace lap. That one doesn't count. Alfie Charon, a good run to the back bumper of Brian Rose. Slides up a bit. A little bit of left side damage on the 78 truck. Don't know if that's from the initial start with him dropping back to where he was. Still has plenty of pace though, but Tim Pope, very calculating. He's working his way towards the front. Dickerson now with the race lead again. Millett has taken the second spot from Brian Rose. Settled down. We watch Russ Kilgore here in the 9th spot, battling with Paul Ferdiani and Nick Cote front and back. It's also got Dan Baker there in behind in the 09 truck. Cote drops to the inside, had a big run in that number 94 Celsius Essential Energy Toyota Tundra. Takes the spot away from Kilgore. Slides up. Oh, not quite clear. Maybe a little contact between the 7 and the 94. The 33 of Paul Ferdiani just ahead. So Cote is going to take the spot officially. No, still battling back is Russ Kilgore. Kilgore in the middle. He's got company in Blaine Woodruff closing in. Time I see number 71, I think Dave Marcus. I don't know if that was one of his paint jobs, but either way, it's a good looking truck. Makes me want tacos. Back to the action. Russ Kilgore now back into the 10th spot. Cote's completed the pass. Now he's working on the 33 of Ferdiani. Still side by side, the 33 up top. Cote, the number 94 on the low lane. Meanwhile, I think we got a battle for the lead. Zach Millett taking a look at the inside of Larry Dickerson. He's got some pace. Fastest lap last time by was Zach Millett, 31.97, but not by much. Larry Dickerson at 31.99. Millett is right there all over the back bumper of the number 69 machine. Millett closed in a ton there through the dogleg. Plenty of a run. It's not enough to do anything with it. Got to the back bumper quickly, but nowhere to go. Crossover move. Dickerson came down to block the spot. Millett jumps up to the top of the racetrack. See if he's got anything out of turn 2 here. Back to the inside, taking a peek again on Larry Dickerson. Nothing doing, just trying to get in Larry's mirror, I think, trying to make him make a mistake. Again, still super early here, 125 lap race, we're only 20 in. Top 5 trucks are Larry Dickerson, Zach Millett, Brian Rose, Tim Pope, Vincent Short. Starting to get away from the rest of the field. Millett trying to find a solution to this problem, and that is the number 69 machine in front of him. Meanwhile, Brian Rose, he's found some math that he's got figured out himself. He's closing the gap on the top two. Less than a truck length off the back bumper is Zach Millett. Will the draft come into play here? Will he be able to maybe give his teammate a push? So far remains to be seen. Millett and Dickerson running completely different lines right now. Seems to be working for them both. Dickerson able to block the lane when he needs to, block that run out of Millett when he gets it. Difference is, though, Millett's able to get the run. He's just got to find a way around. Last lap, Dickerson and Millett ran identical lap times, a 32:24, while Brian Rose ran a 32:19. Dickerson gets a real good entry down into turns 1 and 2. Pulls away by about a truck, maybe even 2 on Millett. Millett closes the gap back in. Correction, that was 3 and 4. Millett gets the good run off of 4. Goes to the bottom, goes to the top. That's kind of been his MO here for the last handful of laps. Good run out of turn 2 again for Millett. Stays with him. Now he's taking a look. Got the nose inside. Side by side into turn 3. Getting the shorter distance around. Millett's got to check up a little bit sooner than Dickerson. Dickerson goes top side. He's going to steal that run. He's going to defend with that momentum. Now the top 3 starting to get away from the rest of the top 5. That's Timothy Pope and Vincent Short. The stragglers in behind these top 3 drivers. Brian Rose now starting to attack on Zach Millett. He's got the pace. Let's see if he can do anything with the 315 and then maybe go back to re-attacking Dickerson. .27 laps in of 125. Alfie Charon started the race from the pole position, has now fallen back into the 8th spot. Lost that lead right on the start. Dickerson seemed to be pretty powerful right after, so did Brian Rose, and Zach Millett now, of course, still challenging the 69. All 3 of these drivers have proven to be quick. And so far, again, 28 laps into the run, able to maintain it. Millett and Dickerson both changing lanes here, trying to throw the other one off, maybe get out of the dirty air in Zach Millett's case, but he's built a run down the backstretch again, all over the 69 here. Not even a truck length difference between the two. Just nowhere to go. So difficult to pass here at Chicagoland Speedway. Got Nikki Short in the stream chat, cheering on Vincent Short. How you doing, Nikki? Thanks for joining us. Drivers hitting pit lane already. Russ Kilgore with some nose damage on that ortho number 7. Albert Anderson down pit lane again. We still don't know what triggered his issues early on. Might have been just kind of a choice, strategy based. Get out of the riffraff and the busyness of everything. He's in the pits. So's Paul Ferdiani. Damage on the 33. I can wonder if that has something to do with him and Russ Kilgore. Joe Bennett down pit lane as well. 70% fuel load. Again, we started with that. I believe we could be starting to get into pit stop time for some of these drivers. In fact, that's the case. The 69 of Larry Dickerson pulls off from the race lead here at lap 31. He's down pit lane for his first scheduled green flag stop of the night. Into the pit box, uses the fast repair. A little bit of damage on that truck was minimal. You gotta wonder if he forgot to uncheck that. You kind of want to save that until you really truly need it. Meanwhile, Zach Millett, Brian Rose, Timothy Pope, the rest of the leaders down pit lane here. It'll be lap 32, 33, give or take. Timothy Pope, Zach Millett, right sides in the air. Got to imagine this could be a 4-tire stop. 4 sets over the wall, so they can certainly afford it. Drops the jack, he's down and away. Good stop, 14.38 seconds. Timothy Pope was just a hair faster by about a tenth. Not enough to beat Millett out, but it was a quicker stop. Vincent Short from the second position down into pit lane to make his scheduled stop today. Four tires and fuel for the Track Bar Media, number 15 of Vince Short. Clean stop, 17.17 seconds. A slow stop for Vince. Not sure what the holdup there was. Maybe some damage repairs. Either way, down and away. But caution-free thus far. Zach Millett through that cycle of stops. That's his specialty. Get in and off a pit lane fast, fast, fast. Gain positions. If you can't pass them on the track, you pass them in the pits, and Millett has done just that. Remember, Larry Dickerson pit just a lap or two before Millett as the race leader. Millett comes down, makes his stop a lap or two later, comes out as the race lead, and has put 4 seconds on Dickerson. So there's a lot of time that he gains coming down pit lane, waiting until the absolute last possible second to stand on the brakes and slow her down. There's a lot to be gained there, but there's a lot to be lost as well. If you make the mistake and speed on pit lane, it can certainly be a detriment to your afternoon. Knock on wood, haven't seen it become a problem yet with Zach Millett, but there's always that chance. Brian Rose back in the second spot. Pressure from Timothy Pope. Big time pressure from Tim Pope. Running in P3, all over the back bumper. Right on board with Brian Rose. These two continue to battle for that second spot. Pope all over the tailgate of Brian Rose, looking for a way around. It's much like what we saw with Zach Millett and Larry Dickerson. Millett unable to make the pass on the racetrack, was able to get it done during the pit cycle. And again, Dickerson now has slipped all the way back to fourth, 5 full seconds behind the 315. Tim Pope definitely looks a bit faster than Brian Rose right now. In fact, the lap times show it, a 30.86 for Pope the last time by, a 93 for Brian Rose. Pope did that in traffic. Zach Millett ran the exact same lap time, a 30.86 is Timothy Pope, all by his lonesome. Now the draft does come into play a bit on the backstretch, so that could be a factor, but it doesn't help in the corners. It puts that dirty air on the truck behind. You lose some front downforce. It tends to push up the racetrack, which might be a reason why we've seen some of these guys that are trailing or battling for the position kind of take an alternate lane. Put a little more air on the nose of the truck so they can get some turn in. Milling out to a 1.2 second advantage over this group right here. This is the battle for the second position. Brian Rose and the number 89 F-150. Timothy Pope tucked in behind. As this battle continues, though, we're going to get our first HBR TV side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. You won't miss a minute. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Chicagoland Speedway for the DEP Graphics Truck Series Holler Boys Racing 188. We continue to watch this battle for the second spot between Brian Rose and Timothy Pope. You saw it during the side-by-side. They were side-by-side. Brian Rose battled back on the outside lane and was able to get back around Timothy Pope. Maintains his position in the second spot. Tim Pope has backed it off just a bit, 2 to 3 truck lengths. Trying to cool some tires here and maybe give it another go. But meanwhile, while they battled, Millett gets out to a 2.7 second advantage. He's loving what he's seeing in that rearview mirror. Some other battles on the racetrack. Vincent Short with Double O Joe Bennett side by side. This will be for the 8th position. Short tucks back in behind the 00. Joe running up way on the top lane, almost to Larson line. Vincent Short down to the bottom. They come close together through the dog leg here. Vincent stays up on the banking, doesn't go down to the apron. Worked out for him. Not quite clear of Double O Joe. Down into turn 1. He might have it here off of 2 unless Joe can build another run out of the corner. Both drivers lifting the exact same time. You saw the fire out of the pipe getting into the corner. Both these drivers, similar tire strategies. Joe pit at lap 30, Vince lap 33, so that might be helping Vincent Short on the bottom there with the fresher rubber, able to keep his foot down on the shorter distance around. Vince tucks back in behind Double O Joe, goes back to the well. On the bottom another time, Short trying to make this pass and get it to pay off while Kilgore's closing in. Going to make it a 3-truck battle. Also Alfie Charon coming into the mix. Maybe a 4-truck battle if these guys aren't careful. Continue to battle it out. It's going to cost you guys some time. Surprisingly enough, pit stops are going to be right around the corner here. Remember, these guys started to pit around lap 30, 31, 32, 33 in that realm. We're closing in on the next cycle of green flag stops. Joe Bennett still able to stay out in front of Vincent Short here. No answer from the 15 at this point. Vince still sticks around in the 9th position. Russ Kilgore in the 7 maintains the end of the top 10. Alfie Charon trying to close down and make some forward progress. Again, the pole sitter here tonight quickly fell back to just outside the top 10. Was just outside the top 5 for a bit, but through the cycle of pit stops has lost a little bit more track position. We'll see if he can make it up here under green flag conditions or through the next cycle of pit stops. Still has a fast repair to use. The left side fender damage you see at the left rear quarter on that truck, likely from that first lap or first couple of lap incidents. Very well could be affecting the handle on the truck, though, with right side force being so important. That left side caved in the way that it is may not be hurting the truck as much as we might think. Caution on the speedway. I don't see what we have here. Maybe Tony Polk. Tony Polk in the 8 truck in trouble. As well as the 27, Andy Sizemore. He's got some damage. Tim Pope going along by. First caution of the night comes at lap 59, just as green flag cycled stops were getting ready to go. Better now than halfway through it. Let's get a look, see what happened. Oh, we get it a little bit late. Let's back it up. All right, so the 27, Andy Sizemore up top, the 8 truck, Tony Polk, the black machine on the bottom. Tough to say here. Looks like Andy may have come down just in his normal arc. Didn't see the 8 that close to the inside. Maybe thought he was all the way to the bottom. Not the case. Try it from the blimp here. See what it looks like from that perspective. Sizemore definitely comes down. That's without a doubt. The 8 may have come up just a hair, but I don't think it would have mattered. Those drivers were going to meet in the middle at some point. So, first caution of the night. Pit stops underway. Zach Millett, Brian Rose, Tim Pope, and the whole gang all the way down. All our lead lap trucks to Chris Klein in the pits. It's going to be 4 tires and Sunoco race fuel for all involved. Chris Klein a little cockeyed in the pit box, unable to get the pit service complete. Zach Millett off pit lane first, then Brian Rose, Timothy Pope, Alfie Charon out 4th. Or was he? No, Albert Anderson out 4th, Larry Dickerson the end of the top 5. So 61 laps in, working our first caution of the night. We're going to get a break out of the way. Once again, we'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Chicagoland Speedway, lap 63 of 125, just wrapping up our first caution of the night. Involving Tony Polk and Andy Sizemore. Both drivers coming together mid-corner. Timing of the caution just about perfect, coming right before green flag pit stop, so everybody don't do that. Hope that's not on my end. Crossing our fingers that it's not. The whole field was disappearing there for a moment. Fingers crossed. Seems to have corrected itself, but everything looks good as far as the details go. Pace truck's going to peel off.
Green, green, green.
Zach Millett maintains the top spot. Brian Rose has slipped to P3. Timothy Pope took advantage on the restart. He's into that second position, all over Zach Millett like a cheap suit in turns 1 and 2. Pope to the inside. Still side by side through turns 1 and 2. Pope on the power. Does he have him clear? Not quite yet. Millett battles back up top. Battle for the lead here, 66 laps in. Zach Millett up top. Tim Pope on the bottom. We saw this earlier in the season. These guys did battle side by side, lap after lap, until they made contact. Pope's got him clear. New leader, lap 67, Timothy Pope. Millett back to second. Brian Rose still third. Larry Dickerson back in the mix. He's challenging the 89. More of the same we saw early on in the race. Oh, we got trouble. Trucks in the wall. Vincent Short, one of them.
Yellow.
Albert Anderson gets through it, or does he?
What's going on out there, bud?
Jeff Hottinger in it as well. Cautions breed cautions. I watched that group off of turn 2, and I was just waiting for that to happen, and it sure did with authority. Let's get a look at it. Looks like Double O Joe, is that? I'll have to go back and look at a closer angle here. So many drivers just not checking up, and this yellow comes out. Let's rewind it here, get a better angle. Yes, the 00 Joe Bennett. Think he comes down, he gets a piece of the 751 of Mike Adamson. Turns him sideways into the fence. Vincent Short comes in, he collects this mess. Let's try to get a better look at it. Let's go on board here. Let's check out Joe Bennett's angle and see what he can see. Yeah, he could definitely see that he was there. Don't know if he was just paying more attention about not hitting that backstretch wall, because it is not straight. The whole backstretch is a bit of a turn. And remember, I think it was lap 1, he did scrape the right sides on that wall, so might have been a little overcautious, but comes down a bit, makes contact with the 751. What we can do here, the best angle I think to watch here is going to be the 15 of Vincent Short. So we're on board with Vincent Short. The truck directly ahead of him is Double O Joe. I want to back this up a little further again. Yeah, Joe definitely starts coming down. He lifts just before. I don't know if that's his lift point for the corner. I think that's a little early for lifting for the corner, but either way, he knew he was too close, got there, made some contact, and well, the rest is history. Adamson certainly went for a ride. So 70 laps in, Tim Pope, your race leader. Zach Millett runs second. Brian Rose, Larry Dickerson, Nick Cote, your top five. Millett's going to have another opportunity here at a restart to see if he can do anything with Tim Pope. On fresh rubber, certainly seen that Pope was faster. Again, my apologies. Having some connection issues, it seems. I don't know if it's on my end or not. I don't have any frame drop on the network. For some reason, the whole screen keeps blinking out on occasion. It's a new symptom here. There it goes again. Everything looking good so far. We're formed up double file here, though, getting ready for a restart. We lapped 72 as we get the green flag. Field working turn 4. Pace truck about to peel off the banking. We'll be back racing.
Green, green.
Good restart for Millett. Tough to be on that outside. Brian Rose also with a good jump. Stays right to the back bumper of Timothy Pope, the 728 Limitless Motorsport machine. So he goes down to the inside. Zach Millett up top. Brian Rose looking for P2. Getting a little nervous. Brian Rose up to the second spot. Looked high, now looking low. Wants the lead. Nothing doing there. Not able to get alongside of Pope. Millett to the outside. Nope, not enough room. Doesn't get alongside of Brian Rose. Giving him a bit of a push, though, down the straightaway. And ladies and gentlemen, seeing a little bit of technical difficulty. Brian Rose goes to the point, though. Coming to lap 74. Rose back to the lead. This blinking continues. It could only be a server-related issue, as we're not having any network issues on our end. If that does happen, stay with us. We will stay live. We'll get the stream back up and running as soon as possible. If that happens, don't go anywhere. We've got plenty of action still to cover. Brian Rose, though, out in front. Tim Pope trying to take the spot back. Nothing doing there. Meanwhile, Zach Millett trying to take advantage on the outside. Wants the spot. Move himself up but behind Brian Rose, but nothing doing just now. Pope there, still tucked in behind the 89. Slides to the track. Almost contact with Millett. 50-plus laps to go here from Chicagoland Speedway. It's a shame we don't run here anymore. Place puts on the greatest races even here in the sim. Brian Rose still with the race lead. Pope all over the back bumper. Contact between Rose and Pope. Pope got to the back bumper, sent Brian up the racetrack just a bit. Pope checked up clearly as now we're 3 wide for second, third, fourth. Dickerson on the bottom, Pope in the middle, Millen up top. Off of turn 4, a little bit of contact, door to door. Still too early, guys. Plenty of racing to go. Hell, we still got a pit stop to worry about. Ryan Rose still the race leader. Millet runs second. Pope now third. Dickerson and Cote into the mix as well. Baker up to 6. Kilgore 7th. Anderson 8th. Lawson and Sharon your top 10. Zach Millet looking for the lead once again out of 2 with a run. Gets alongside of Brian Rose. Drag race down into turn 3. Zach Millet to the point, takes the spot away. Tim Pope's going to try and follow him on through. Rose now goes from the lead back to third. It's probably going to be fourth when it's all said and done. That's if he can hold off the 94. Down into turn 3 once again. Pope's got him clear. Dickerson still working to the outside. Millet still with the lead. A hard charging Timothy Pope out the back window. 0.2 of a second off the back bumper. Still 40 laps remain here from Chicagoland. Plenty of action still to come. Pit stops going to be creeping up here pretty soon as well with about 25 laps to go. If not sooner, maybe 35 laps to go. They've got one more in the tank to worry about. Brian Rose has been able to hang on to the 4th position ahead of Nick Cote. Behind them, it's Dan Baker and Russ Kilgore. Caution on the speedway.
Out.
Justin Hopp in trouble.
Really doing a great job, man. We'll keep working on
Down
this
the
thing for you.
backstretch.
How you doing inside there? You feeling okay?
See what happened here out of turn 2. Contact with a 19. Let's back this up. The 24 truck of Justin Hopp on the high lane, that green and purple machine to the outside of the 27. You've got the 19 of Brandon Coleman rolling up. Oh, a little bit of contact with the 27 and 24. That's how this initiated. Sends the 24 into the safer barrier. Coleman's got nowhere to go. Well, there you have it. So this lies an interesting question. They can go about, I think, 34 laps, and, well, the question's already answered. They're going to come down pit lane here, get pit service. Still in a good position. The pit window was open. Everybody down pit lane. Few drivers staying on the racetrack. Albert Anderson, Mike Adamson, Paul Ferdiani. They're going to get chewed up in a hurry here as we go back to the green. Still having these connection issues. It's got me nervous. Milling down and away. First truck off pit lane. Millen already clutching the truck, saving some fuel. But we're going to jump out, get one more break out of the way. We'll be back after this. Back at Chicagoland Speedway for the Holler Boys Racing 188. Numb Thumbs Racing League DEP Graphics Truck Series. Pace truck lights are off. We are on the one to go. Restart coming at lap 87. Only our third caution of the night. Top three drivers opted not to pit that last time. We'll see how that affects them as we get ready to go back to green. Still having those cars blink out. Still with it. Pace truck is off.
Green flag.
We're back underway from Chicagoland. Tim Pope, awful racing there in behind the 33 of Paul Ferdiani. Again, fresh tires for Pope. Adamson going to the middle of the racetrack, trying to get as wide as possible. Some fast trucks with some fresh tires here, fired back, getting held up just a bit. Ferdiani keeping it pinched down, not opening the door for Pope. They're three wide to the right side of Pope. It's Brian Rose and Baker up top. Oh, contact. Sharon's going to go around.
Caution.
Caution on the speedway.
Depends on what you
Oh,
got.
man, guys still need to get checked up here. Well, hopefully we can get that replay to roll here because we had some issues as well. Contact was made. That was between Alfie Charon and the 20 of Justin Lawson. You see everything blinked out here at that moment in time. But then Chris Klein just comes in and powers through him. Field gets frozen when the caution comes out, guys. Don't need to rush. Alfie Charon, pole sitter. Not how he expected this one to go. Our fourth caution of the night. Alfie's in it on the restart. Just a lap later. Gonna take 4 tires and fuel. I don't think he had a fast repair remaining. Might have just used it. Remember, he had some driver's left rear damage. That was from the opening laps. A lot of drivers down pit lane. A lot of guys getting caught up in that in some form or fashion. So with that, I'm going to jump out and get another break out of the way, see if I can try and diagnose this issue we've been having about midway through this race. Don't want to lose this stream, so stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at the Holler Boys Racing 188. Working the end of our fourth caution of the evening. Race truck pulls off. New leader, Larry Dickerson, Mike Adamson, the front
Green
row.
flag, green flag, green flag.
And Adamson on old tires. He's been able to hold his own pretty well. Ryan Rose drops down to the bottom lane, tucks in behind the 69 of Dickerson. Ryan Rose to the point, gets to the bottom. Dickerson and Rose battling it out once again. Deja vu to the beginning of this race. Both drivers on the same aged tires. Lap 83, their last pit stop. Again, we had that caution pretty much right away, so relatively new. Tim Pope goes to the bottom, easily disposes of Mike Adamson. Again, Adamson not on fresh tires. Baker's going to go to the bottom. He's got fresh rubber as well. Adamson's going to free fall here. He's going to need to hope for a caution late in this race. Again, he does have a set of tires still over the wall, but so does everyone else. For the most part, we hope. Brian Rose, your race leader. Dickerson second. Pope, though, on the charge, gets to the inside. Now, I want to say it's been go time this entire race, but here we are. Lap 95, now 96. 30 laps to go. It's go time for sure. A newfound level of aggression for Tim Pope. It's time to go. Brian Rose just hopes that Dickerson gives him a fight there, side by side, down the backstretch for the second position. Filling up into the fifth position, restarted about 10th. Not sure the situation there with the 315, but he's working his way back up through the field. Hold my breath every time that happens. Ryan Rose still with the race lead. Pope takes over the second spot, no longer battling with Larry Dickerson. Larry's trying to fight back, though, looking for a way back around Timothy Pope. Doesn't look like he's found a path to do it. Rose, Pope, Dickerson, Millett, and Baker, your current top five as they come to put lap 99 on the board. Adamson has slipped all the way back now to the 12th spot on those older tires. Top four under a blanket into turn number 3. It's Rose, Pope, Dickerson, Millett. Dickerson goes topside, trying to build a run to make a move for the second spot. Pope blocks it off. Nowhere to go for the 69 truck. Opens the door for Zach Millett. Millett to the apron, all the way to the bottom. Not quite enough to get to the inside. Again, this makes things a little bit easier for Brian Rose. Starts to get a little bit of an advantage away from Pope. It's only a truck length, though, so don't blink. Otherwise, you're going to lose this spot. Haley in the stream chat. Hi, everyone. I'm late, but I'm here. Thanks for joining us, Haley. 25 laps to go. Having some connection issues on our end, I think. Maybe it's on iRacing's end. Who knows? But we still got a race. 24 laps to go. Brian Rose, your race leader. Pope is second. Dickerson third. Millett fourth. Baker still fifth. Kilgore is going to try and work on that position here. He's to the inside. Nothing doing just yet. Nothing doing really up here. The 71 comes into the mix as well. Slows things down for the leaders. Dickerson goes to the bottom, but no change of position within our top four. Right on board with Brian Rose, the chaos that's unfolding behind him right now. That was an interesting sound of the 89 machine of Brian Rose. I don't know if that was connection related or if he just missed a shift. Not like he's coming up to speed, but Brian Rose still in command here. 22 laps to go. Timothy Pope. It's going to be hard to guard here in the later stages of this race. Dickerson certainly no slouch either. Millett in behind Dickerson. You've got some very fast trucks in behind the race lead here. Rose also clearly not a slouch himself, leading this race. Not the first time he's been out front tonight. Still massive connection issues, I believe. I hope it's just server related and not on my end, but we're crossing our fingers here. My apologies to all you guys still watching. Certainly do appreciate it, though. Still got 20 plus in the stream. Top four starting to get away from 5th and 6th. That's kind of been the name of the game here tonight. The cream rises to the top. Rose, Pope, Dickerson, Millett with 19 laps to go. I don't know if I can even stand it. Still maintaining the top spot. Rose starting to enjoy a bit of a lead here. Tim Pope under pressure from Zach Millett. Dickerson has slipped back to P4. Lap truck involved here. That's not going to help things for the leaders, but he's got nowhere to go. The 20 of Justin Lawson. First truck one lap down. Millett now to the outside of Tim Pope. 16 and a half laps to go. So top four, same faces, just different arrangements. Brian Rose, Zach Millett, Timothy Pope, Larry Dickerson. Dan Baker still in the 5th spot. Starting to wonder if Dickerson burned up his stuff here a little bit early in this run. Got 16 coming to 15 to go, and Dickerson's on pit lane. Is this scheduled? This might be a scheduled stop. One more stop. Yes, it is. 15 laps to go. We are under the green flag still. Vincent Short, Jeff Ottinger down pit lane. Almost thought this one signed, sealed, and delivered, but no, another round of pit stops under the green flag. If it stays under the green flag, that could be advantage Zach Millett, as he's so strong getting in and out of pit lane. Hopefully the penalty doesn't come to haunt him again here. He got a shadow boxing penalty on the last round of stops. Essentially what that is driving through too many pit stalls. Back out front, Brian Rose, Zach Millett. Nice thing is these guys are teammates. They can be in communication as to when one another is going to pit, so they can do it together. Not the case though. Zach Millett down pit lane. Goes Russ Kilgore. Final stops coming late in the race here at Chicagoland. 13 laps to go. Right side's on the 315. Does he opt for two? Nope. 4 tires and fuel for Zach Millett, as is Russ Kilgore. He's down and away. Brian Rose also down pit lane. Dan Baker down pit lane. 31 truck a little scary on entry. That's Scott Milner. Timothy Pope also, Tim Pope overruns the entry. He's going to come in the right side of the cone. That's going to be an unsafe entry for Timothy Pope, and he just leaves the session. Seals the deal for Pope. Tough break, one of the contenders for the race win. Pope is out of this. New leader Paul Ferdiani, first laps led here this afternoon. Only 7 trucks on the lead lap currently. A caution would really throw a monkey wrench into the mix. Brandon Coleman running in the second spot. Double O Joe in P3. Chris Klein, Nick Cote, the top 5. Haley, you're becoming my marketing director. Hit that thumbs up in the like column. Everyone, for a great racing channel, certainly do appreciate it, Haley. The great racing certainly helps a lot. Verdiani still out in front. Coleman P2, Klein, Bennett, Cote, the only trucks on the lead lap. In fact, they might be able to go to the end. Their laps, their pits. Lap 90. That'd be a 35 lap run to the finish for Paul Ferdiani. Brandon Coleman pit at lap 89. 36 laps to get him to the finish. Klein lap 90. Joe Bennett, Nick Cote 91, 91. Millett took 4 tires at lap 112. He's gotten himself back on the lead lap. I don't know if he's got enough time to catch these guys. If they're going to save a ton of fuel, they might be okay. They might get this done on strategy. Caution certainly is going to be the coffin nail for these guys, though, as they are out of tires. So the 33 of Paul Ferdiani in the race lead here with 7 laps to go. Larry Dickerson going to get his lap back here. Ferdiani's last lap, a 32.65. Tell you, if I'm him, I'm backing it way down. I don't know what the max distance is on a tank of fuel here, but it seemed like everybody was going 30 to 33. Just don't know. Ferdiani can squeak out a win here. That would be amazing. He's Not to say he didn't have a strong truck. He qualified 5th here tonight. Get some other drivers, though, up into the top 3. Coleman started 16th. Chris Klein was 22nd. Be a great, great finish for these drivers just to make it happen. Millett, though, again, the first guy out with fresh tires. He's running 5th, but 26 seconds in the rearview mirror. I just don't think he's got enough time to close it down and catch these guys without a caution. Vincent Short and Dan Baker, this is for position, the 13th spot. Almost some contact between Short and Baker, door to door through turn 2. It's a 3-truck battle for position. Baker, Short, Milner. Back out front, Paul Ferdiani. Still in the race lead here. Last lap at 32.68. Coleman's running way slower, 35.35. Bennett, 34.29. Klein, 34.92. And Ferdiani comes down pit lane. He's not going to make it. 3 laps to go. Has to relinquish the race lead for fuel. Tough, tough break for the 33. Brandon Coleman's going to inherit the top spot here in just a second. Back across the stripe. Coleman's got it to P1 with 2 to go. Ryan Rose on fresh tires. Rockets by. Coleman's going to beg to see the white flag here. Does he have enough fuel? He's awfully slow on a turn 4. He's going to have to stretch it one more lap. White flag in the air. Coleman way out of the throttle on a turn number 2. He's got 3 seconds back to 00 Joe Bennett. A fuel strategy race we didn't see coming. Truck's off. It's not running. Now he's back in it, trying to burp that truck. Checkered flag in the air. Brandon Coleman's going to win it. Crosses the stripe with just enough fuel at 110 mile an hour. That truck is not running. It ran out across the line. Your race winner, Brandon Coleman out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Zach Millett giving him a push back to start finish. Made it work. Millett ended up with a P3 finish, I believe. Guys were running out on that last lap. There it goes. He saved a little bit of fuel for a couple of burnouts, and that's it. You hear it sputter. That's all she wrote. We're going to get our final break out of the way, folks. Stay with us. We'll be back with our top 3 finishers after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Chicagoland Speedway, Brandon Coleman, your race winner for the Holler Boys race in 188. Let's pull Brandon up into the broadcast booth and get a word with him and find out exactly how he pulled it off. Brandon, it's Steve in the HBR TV broadcast booth. Are you with us? Congratulations on winning the Holler Boys race in 188. Stretch the fuel until the very bitter end, man. Was that the plan coming in, trying to make this a fuel strategy race, or was it say, hey, look, it's going to be close, let's gamble?
I thought there was going to be a caution. I was banking on a caution, and I was hoping there wasn't a caution. With 10 laps to go, I had or 12 laps to go, I had 10.8, and I just didn't think I was going to make it. And then I seen Double O Joe was on the same thing, cutting it off and staying. I kept my 3-second lead, so I was like, okay, I got something.
We were watching the lap times there at the end. Ferdiani in the 33 thought he had a shot at this. 3 laps to go, he had to pit, but watching those lap times, He was running about 2-3 seconds a lap faster than everybody else, so he was definitely not going to make it. You guys were disciplined. You did a pretty good job with it. Clearly, you're here in victory lane. Zach Millett giving you a bit of a push there at the end. A little bit of a donut at the start-finish line. Was that kind of a plan to save a little bit for the celebration?
It was.
Well,
Had to have some fun with it.
Certainly made it entertaining. It was a different set of winners than we expected. We saw a lot of fast guys at the front of the field. You've been fast all season long, but a 16th place starting position. The bettors would not have picked the 19 to win it, but here you are, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, man.
So next week, we leave Chicagoland Speedway and we go to the road course at Watkins Glen. Totally different animal. What are your thoughts going into the Glen next week?
I'm looking forward to it. I like Watkins Glen. I think it's going to be a bit of a handful, and hopefully not too good for a lot of other people. But
Well, we look forward to it. It's one of my favorite places. I'm about an hour from the track myself, so I'm excited for it as well as everybody else. Congratulations again, man. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
I want to thank you guys for doing a great job on this broadcast, and I want to thank Derek Walsh and the Numb Thumbs guys for letting me, Paul, and Justin Naylor come in here and race and putting it on and doing a hell of a job. And I want to thank my teammates, Justin and Paul. Paul paints these trucks every week, and they look really good. And, you know, Justin's really good input on everything as well, and then Naylor's input when he's here.
All right, Brandon. Well, once again, nice work. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week at the Glen.
Thank you.
It's Brandon Coleman, your race winner here at Chicagoland Speedway. Next, we're going to pull Double O Joe up into the broadcast booth and get a word with our runner-up, Joe Bennett. Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Joe, congratulations, man. A second place finish here at Chicagoland. It was fuel mileage that got you there. We didn't expect to see that. We had a couple of cautions here mid-race, and things were developing the way that they were. We thought it was going to come down to tires, but fuel was the name of the game, and you guys played it right, man. Walk us through the strategy about tonight at Chicagoland.
Yeah, we just, a big shout out to my teammates, man. They literally, man, I don't know. Without them, man, I wouldn't have been able to make it. Me and Chris, we were trying to save there, and Paul was on a different pit strategy, and we were just trying to save as much as we could without losing a lot of time. Right there at the end, man, Millett was, he was flying. I was just trying to save enough to stay in front of him, And it was crazy.
Yeah, Millett's tough no matter what the situation, but I thought he was euchred there at the end with the fuel strategy that you guys were playing. It was working out, and I just didn't think there was enough time. I was shocked to see him at third place there at the end, but never mind him. Let's talk about you. Next week, we go to Watkins Glen. How are you going to fare at the road course next week?
Well, I'm going to be practicing all week, so...
Fair enough.
So hopefully, as long as I can finish in the top 10... top 20, depending on how many people show up, I should be good. I'm not very good at road racing, but I can slow and steady, baby. That's how I do it.
Well, the one advice I'll give you is road racing in a stock car is kind of my forte. Zach Millett's too, he's pretty good at it, but back up your corner entry, slow in, fast out. And if you do that, especially at the Glen into turn one, that's the only advice I will really give you, but you do that and you'll be quick.
Awesome. I appreciate the tips.
Well, rolling forward, of course, Watkins Glen next week. We're going to let you go here and get Zach Millett up into the broadcast booth. Joe, is there anyone you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, just shout out the NTR for running the leagues, and Derek and you, Steve, for broadcasting and HBR TV. And shout out to my teammates, and shout out to Pops. I think he was out there watching tonight. He was wondering if I was going to be able to make it or not, but I did. And I just wanted to apologize to Adamson, man. I seemed to get into him a couple of times, and I just want to apologize to him. But, yeah, I appreciate everything you guys do, man. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks for the kind words, Joe. Good luck next week in the Glen.
Thank you.
It's Double O Joe Bennett, your runner-up here at Chicagoland. Next, we're going to talk to the 315 of Zach Millett. Talk to our third-place finisher. Tires was the name of the game, at least for a bit, but then fuel came down to it late. Didn't get the caution that we all needed, or some needed. Zach Millett, walk us through the closing laps of this race. You were a lap down after that final pit stop and still somehow managed to fight back and to finish P3, man. Tell us about it.
Yeah, man, it was, I mean, it doesn't get any better when you get the fresh tires towards the end of the race and you're just flying, you know, win, lose, or indifferent. It's as fun as it gets when you're flying through traffic like that. I went 3 wide probably 14 times this race. So, yeah, big congrats to Brandon and Double O Joe. They earned it, man. I mean, geez, they must have been 2-3 laps short and they saved it. So, big congrats to them. It was a fun race. The EOL made things interesting there towards the end. I think we only had 30 laps to claw back up, but yeah, that was scary.
Well, interestingly enough, about the fuel strategy, Coleman won the race. His pit stop was at lap 89. Joe Bennett finishes P2. His pit stop was at lap 91. Paul Ferdiani was leading with 3 to go and had to pit. His last stop was at lap 90. So it really goes to show, save fuel. If you can save it, if you can get good at it, that lift and coast, you can certainly make it to the finish. It's just a matter of how much go juice you want to throw at that motor.
Yeah, you know, they had the perfect strategy because if there was a caution towards the end, they both had a set of tires over the wall. So, I mean, even if there was that, you know, that caution that came out, they would have came in, got their tires, and they would have been flying anyway.
Checkmate for the top 2. But Zach, next week we kind of go to your forte, road course racing in a truck, man. What are you thinking rolling into Watkins Glen next week?
I'm pretty excited there's no EOL or anything. That's a pretty good start. But yeah, I mean, you know better than anybody. I look forward to those races. I love doing them. It's a challenge, especially in these things. It's just as good as it gets, man. I love the road courses. So Watkins Glen especially, it's our home track, you know. I'm pretty pumped.
Certainly looking forward to it. I'm excited. You're excited. We're all excited. Even Brandon Coleman's excited. Joe Bennett, not so much. He's just hoping for a top 20. But we gave him some pointers. Maybe we can get him a little bit quicker there and have him be part of the competition in that top 10 instead of top 20. Zach, again, congratulations here at Chicagoland, man. We'll let you go. Is there anyone you want to shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you, Steve, and HBR TV for the broadcast as always. Track Bar Media, Eric Dotson, State Farm, Castle Products, Fahey Race Wraps for this awesome wrap. He does an awesome job. And shoot me a follow over on Twitch. We stream tonight even, so it's that S4 guy.
All right, Zach, good luck next week at the Glen.
Thanks, Goose.
Zach Millett, your third place finisher here at Chicagoland Speedway. It's going to wrap up the interview portion of our broadcast. Let's take a look at the race results portion of the broadcast. Of course, Brandon Coleman with his first win of the season. Double O Joe Bennett finishes P2. Zach Millett third. Larry Dickerson, strong run out of that 69 truck. Led some laps, was always a contender to the very bitter end. Finishes fourth. Robert Chipman was fifth. Mike Adamson, sixth. Chris Klein finished in the seventh position. Eighth finisher was Russ Kilgore. Paul Ferdiani, even with that late pit stop with 3 to go, finished P9. He's going to have to work on practicing his fuel-saving mode going forward. 10th place was Dan Baker. Albert Anderson was 11th. Scott Milner was 12th. Vincent Short finished P13. Paul Durkee was 14th. 15th went to Nick Cote. Jeff Ottinger was 16th. Brian Rose, P17. Tony Polk, 18th. Justin Lawson, 19th. Blaine Woodruff was 20th. Justin Hopp, 21st. Andy Sizemore, 22nd. Steve Naylor was 23rd. Tim Pope, a tough night for him. Strong run most of the evening, but that final stop bit him. Went in a little wide. Unsafe pit entry, was going to get the penalty, and he finishes 24th, 13 laps down. Alfie Charon, the pole sitter, well, first to worst, unfortunately, for Alfie Charon, finishes in the 25th position, 37 laps down after an incident on track. So that's your race results here from the Holler Boys Racing 188 DEP Graphics Truck Series presented by Numb Thumbs Racing League. Thank you guys all for joining us. If you haven't already done so, check us out, hbrtv1.com. Very rudimentary website with a logo and a couple of hot links for both the social media pages, Facebook and YouTube. Give us a like, follow, share, subscribe, turn on the notifications, all that jazz. It does matter. We need those likes and follows, guys. If you're watching every week, like the stream. It absolutely helps, not only HBR TV, but also Numb Thumbs Racing. So jump in there, help us out, give them the likes, turn on the notifications so you don't miss next week's race. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, congratulating Brandon Coleman. Have a good night, guys.